Welcome to another edition of Moving Forward. I'm your host, Ann Simonton, and this is part 2 of a program that's hoping to open up a dialogue on Fashion Team Santa Cruz. We're asking our community, what are the goals of educators, parents, and mentors when setting the agenda for youth activity and creative engagement? We use the teen fashion show held at the Civic Auditorium as a springboard for a discussion about many diverse topics. The majority of the children who participated in the runway show were between the ages of 11 and 13. This event raises some important questions for us as teachers, parents, and community members. How do we nurture our girls to stay strong, safe, and succeed in life? In this program, we'll discuss gender stereotypes and offer some ideas to help our children look more critically at fashion and gender. And we always invite your responses.
Get ready to weigh in, get ready to take sides, because some parents are going to argue to you that it's just fine for little girls to get luxurious spa treatments. And we're not just talking manicures here. We're talking about bikini waxes, chemical peels. It's happening, believe it or not, and ABC's Andrea Canning has more. Andrea?
Bikini waxes, Diane, just microdermabrasion, things that never crossed my mind as a kid. But some moms say beauty treatments help their daughters fit in and build confidence. Experts, however, warn that plucking and scrubbing to perfection at too young an age could be doing more harm than good.
All right, lay down.
For 11-year-old Danielle Gallagher, perfectly plucked brows are a must-have accessory for her first dance.
You're beautiful now.
Thank you.
Facials help 5th grader Bella Burris unwind. And Evelyn O'Byrne says coiffed curls give her confidence.
Right, you like it? Yeah.
Pint-sized pampering isn't exactly what comes to mind when you think of a stress-free spa day.
You can really relax.
Their feet don't even touch the ground, but the tween beauty business is booming at spas like Simon Says in Skokie, Illinois.
Ladies, thank you for coming in. You guys look beautiful.
And Sotis, days of just harmless manis and petties are over. At Salon Wedad, young girls unhappy with their curls now make up 20% of the clientele.
I have 9-year-olds that come in for chemical treatments. I have as young as 6 and 7. They do a chemical treatment to release and loosen their curls.
But it goes well beyond that. 11 and 12-year-olds are even getting eyebrow and bikini waxes.
Well, I feel it's part of hygiene. I do all of these types of things myself, and I think that they're better off starting young.
You don't think it's too young?
This is all new to them, so you have to kind of point them in the right direction.
But Dr. Ronnie Cohen-Sandler, author of Stressed Out Girls, believes it's the wrong direction, that these treatments combined with the shrinking clothes some tweens are wearing today are contributing to their sexualization and a loss of self-confidence.
By focusing so much on their appearance, kids today are being asked to grow up so much sooner than they should be. The earlier that girls begin to see themselves as objects that are appealing to the opposite sex and worry about how they look, that is harming them psychologically. They're not able to really feel good about themselves.
And it's clear young girls are feeling that pressure.
It's very nerve-wracking. Everyone's like, oh, your hair is messy or you look ugly. It's very nerve-wracking a lot.
How does that make you feel? You're so young.
Sometimes I feel sad.
So why are they growing up so fast? Some tweens admit the allure of shows like Gossip Girl.
Oxygen facials, anyone?
And Miley Cyrus. Seen in this month's Vanity Fair, Barely There are having a huge influence on them. Listen to what Danielle picked up on.
Do you look at eyebrows at all on girls like Miley Cyrus?
Well, when I saw her first episode of Hannah Montana, her eyebrows weren't the exact same way as they are now when I see her in pictures. And I like how it's much cleaner and thinner because it makes her look more mature.
I hear girls in middle school tell me that boys are giving them ratings. You're a 2, you're an 8, and those numbers stick with them. So if they also have mothers who are very much focused on their looks and are telling them you need to get facials, that's reinforcing that message that their looks are very, very important. And I believe that mothers need to de-emphasize that.
All right, have fun at your dance. Thank you.
The mother needs to be very mindful of the messages she's giving her daughter. If she's telling her daughter, this is something we need to do routinely, and this is something we need to carve out time for, That's a message, I think, that's ultimately going to be harmful for her daughter.
And Dr. Sandler believes it's less harmful for girls at age 5 to go to the spa versus, say, 10 years old, because they're just playing grown-up and it's all pretend, Diane, and the older girls are at a critical point in their mental and physical development, and when they go to the spa, they understand it's about enhancing their looks.
Little girls are going from toddlers to teenagers with just about nothing in between.
I think there's a real compelling argument to be made that it's priming them for sexualization when there's just one form of play that they do for 3 years, and it's all about being the prettiest of them all and the fairest of them all. That becomes problematic. It goes really quickly from being the prettiest little girl to needing to be the hottest little girl.
April 17th, I go to get my hair and makeup done, and they had a slot, like it was 4 hours for makeup and hair. They really needed it too, because there were not that many people working on hair and makeup, and there are a lot of kids.
Hey guys, so I'm going to be showing you how to, what a 11 through 14-year-old should have in their makeup. Do not need, but I need, because this is all I'm wearing, and if I didn't, you would see scars, and my skin is just really ugly, and a lot of little, what are those? Little freckles, all over. So I recommend LA Colors liquid makeup. It's really nice. I had this for a long time, and it's gonna last me. I recommend getting this because you have face, eyebrow. Yes, an eyebrow. This is just a beautiful palette. I recommend getting this a lot. It came with 2 brushes, but...
Be still. He'll mess it up.
That's burning. The wax is extremely hot.
Here's the cold. As soon as it comes off, cold goes right on it, okay?
You ready?
No, don't rip it.
Okay,
put that on.
You want me to put that on? Okay.
Don't try this at home.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
There you go.
Good job.
That was painful. It felt like crying bad, like I wanted to scream bad.
Last one, yay.
Stay tough.
No.
Keep your hands down.
I want it.
I got you.
I want it.
You're fine. Here we go. Ready? Good job. Let me see how pretty they are now. Oh, so much better.
Contest at 29, Brooklyn.
If Brooklyn is as good as everybody says,
return to the back so the judges can get a good look at you.
There are a lot of girls who look great. My favorites are Brooklyn, Brooke, and Brittany.
All right, ladies, thank you. Exit the stage.
It's going to be a tough decision.
Brooke. Amelia. Jalen's hobbies are hunting, fishing, and reading. Alex's favorite food is steak and mushrooms. Her favorite food is Chinese.
Passionate kids. We're like trained people. We know how to smile and cute.
Contestant number 29, Brooklyn. Brittany is the daughter of Randy and Harold.
I love watching her on stage. It makes me happy just to see her smile, and it's a big difference in how she looks, but she's still my little angel.
What's so bad about the fashion industry that treated you so well?
Well, I think that with a lot of things in life, there is the image and what we want people to think that something is, and there's the truth behind it. And if you think about it, every time, mainly in the past, that we've heard models talking about modeling, it's always been that kind of tape recorder of yeah, everything is great, there is no eating disorder, there's no problem. But that's because literally we know that if we speak out, we stop working.
And how old were you when you began modeling?
I was 13.
13 is very young? Or
very, very young. It's the majority of models, even adult models, or children under 18 years old. It's very, very common. Yeah, I mean, I was discovered in New York City, and I was told to say that I was 15 most of the time because they didn't want me to come off as too young and too dangerous in a way. But looking back, I mean, I was a very, very impressionable child. Children at that age, through all the teen years, I mean, 13 to 20, they're like wet cement, you know, anything that falls on them sticks and makes an impression. Incredibly impressionable, incredibly malleable, incredibly delicate.
I have close friends that will go to the bathroom and put on like 10 pounds of makeup, you know, and you're at school to learn.
I remember 5th grade, I was worrying about my weight, and now I'm in 9th grade, I'm still worrying about my weight.
As a culture, women are brought up to be fundamentally insecure.
Media creates consciousness, and if what gets put out there that creates our consciousness is determined by men, we're not going to make any progress.
Little boys and little girls, when they're 7 years old, an equal number want to be president of the United States when they grow up. But then you ask the same question when they're 15, and you see this massive gap emerging.
We're shortchanging voices that are urgently needed in public forums from ever getting to the table.
Moving now to the research. Self-objectification is a phenomenon where we, girls and women, view our bodies as sex objects. And all of us do to a greater or lesser extent, and this varies somewhat by sexuality and somewhat by ethnicity, but by and large, all women face this in the US. So, self-objectification, 10 years of research, mostly done by psychologists. We know that it has some pretty severe effects. I'm going to run through the list, but I want to concentrate on just a few of these items. First, the more we think of ourselves and internalize this idea of being sex objects, the higher our rates of depression. We also engage in habitual body monitoring much more when we view ourselves as sex objects. What is habitual body monitoring? The men in the audience, this might be news to you. It is not news to the women in the audience. We think about the positioning of our legs, the positioning of our hair, where the light is falling, who's looking at us, who's not looking at us. In fact, in the 5 minutes that I've been giving this talk, on average, the women in this audience have engaged in habitual body monitoring 10 times. That is every 30 seconds. Eating disorders are much more prevalent with those who see themselves as sex objects, as well as body shame, and depressed cognitive functioning. If we're engaging in habitual body monitoring, it simply takes up more mental space that could be better used, completing math tests, completing your homework. It just sucks our cognitive functioning.
I don't see why we should be having catwalk lessons, mandatory catwalk lessons, if it's about self-expression. These young girls know how to walk. And they know how to walk the way that they walk. So why aren't we letting them do it? That's art.
How I feel about a fashion show is that the models are hangers for the most part, for whatever it is. What I've learned about this show, I'll call it fashion art, is that it's artistic. The kids do their own work. They wear their own work. And there's gender parity. The boys are just as enthusiastic about the girls, as the girls are, about what they're making and wearing. And it's not about what we know to be a fashion show. It's not about body image. It's not about I have to be this way or look this way. It's about I made this and I'm showing it off. And so my feeling of the show has changed over the years the more I am involved with the kids who are making what they're then showing.
We raise our little boys to view their bodies as tools to master their environments. We raise our little girls to view their bodies as projects to constantly be improved. What if women started to view their bodies as tools to master their environment, as tools to get you from one place to the next, as these amazing vehicles for moving through the world in a new way?
Notice how gender is displayed during this program. The male models seem to own the runway, and they gesture in ways that make them feel powerful. They appear comfortable and confident as they move down the runway. Maybe the boys could teach the girls how to walk confidently on a runway. Notice how different people will experience the same event very differently. What are your ideas on how to make it less about physical appearance and more about artistic expression? Notice how this boy appears to be shooting the crowd with a gun as the girl blows a kiss to the crowd.
And I'm hoping that the more that we focus on maybe the art and the creative side and having kids be able to express and be proud of their art, the less we're focusing on the other things that we know are toxic. The body image, the catwalk, the whatever it is that we know is not good for kids.
How can our school district work more closely with successful Bay Area programs like Youth Speaks and Brave New Voices? This group is unparalleled in providing youth with an opportunity to learn what it means to be a cultural leader in the 21st century.
One, an object in motion tends to stay in motion.
Our blood moves 11,806 miles each day, braving 60,000 miles of circulation to cause the rise and fall of your chest in the morning.
You blink 23,040 times while the Earth travels 1.6 million miles.
Movement is not limited to your awareness.
The universe will continue to move without your consent.
Your body will live without your permission.
Your blood will circulate.
3, 2. Force equals mass times acceleration. A 150-gram bullet traveling at 2,000 feet per second exerts 3,032 pounds per square inch over 1/1000th of a second upon impact.
February 21st, 1965. 21 bullets pierced flesh in a Manhattan ballroom. Malcolm X hits the earth with enough force to raise a nation of fists.
The mass of the bullet times the acceleration needed to end the life equals the force required to resurrect a broken spirit.
The masses will continue to accelerate.
3. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction.
Stillness does not equal weakness.
Size and stature can be deceiving.
A hummingbird's wings vibrate 68 times per second just to be still.
Have you ever seen a hummingbird move without purpose? December 1st, 1955. Rosa Parks refused to move from her seat.
Her heart a frenzied flutter of wings.
The collection of steps to the Washington Monument in her chest marched without moving an inch.
Stationary sent a ripple through America.
A hummingbird hovering near the front of a Montgomery bus.
4. Laws are meant to be broken.
We're not content with the confinements of science.
We have begun to make our own laws. 1. The energy of regret is greater than the energy of progress.
A young boy holds his bloody mouth at a bus stop after I watched his sides crumble in a fight that I could have stopped the hummingbird in my chest rode that bus home without flight. 2.
We will never evolve if we fear the unknown.
On a Sunday in 2006, I walked into a poetry slam wide-eyed and unaware, realizing that some collisions are entirely beyond the scope of physics, that ignorance had kept me quiet for far too long.
Young writers are empowered to speak their minds and vocalize their dreams.
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be pretty? Will I be pretty? What comes next? Oh, right. Will I be rich, which is almost pretty depending on where you shop. And the pretty question infects from conception, passing blood and breath into cells. The word hangs from our mother's hearts in a shrill fluorescent floodlight of worry. Will I be wanted, worthy, pretty? But Puberty left me this funhouse mirror dryad, teeth set at science fiction angles, crooked nose, face donkey long, and pockmarked where the hormones went, finger painting my poor mother. How could this happen? You'll have porcelain skin as soon as we can see a dermatologist. You sucked your thumb, that's why your teeth look like that. You were hit in the face with a frisbee when you were 6, otherwise your nose would have been just fine. Don't worry, we'll get it all fixed, she would say, grasping my face, twisting it this way, then that, as though it were a cabbage she might buy. But this is not about her. Not her fault. She too was raised to believe the greatest asset she could bestow upon her awkward little girl was a marketable facade. By 16, I was pickled with ointments, medications, peroxides, teeth corralled into steel prongs, laying in a hospital bed, face packed with gauze, cushioning the brand new nose the surgeon had carved. Belly gorged on 2 pints of my own blood I had swallowed under anesthesia, and every convulsive twist of my gut like my body screaming at me from the inside out. What did you let them do to you? All the while, this never-ending chorus droning on and on like the IV needle dripping liquid beauty into my blood. Will I be pretty? Will I be pretty? Like my mother unwinding the gift wrap to reveal the bouquet of daughter her $10,000 bought her. Pretty. Pretty. And now I have not seen my own face in 10 years. I have not seen my own face in 10 years, but this is not about me. This is about the self-mutilating circus we have painted ourselves clowns in, about women who will prowl 30 stores and 6 malls to find the right cocktail dress, but who haven't a clue where to find fulfillment or how to wear joy, wandering through life shackled to a shopping bag beneath the tyranny of those 2 pretty syllables, about men wallowing on bar stools, drearily practicing attraction, and everyone who will drift home tonight crestfallen because not enough strangers found you suitably fucked. This is about my own someday daughter. When you approach me, already stung, stained with insecurity, begging, Mom, will I be pretty? Will I be pretty? I will wipe that question from your mouth like cheap lipstick and answer, no. The word pretty is unworthy of everything you will be, and no child of mine will be contained in 5 letters. You will be pretty intelligent, pretty creative, pretty amazing, but you will never be merely pretty.
Research shows us that team sports and athletics can really help young girls who worry about their appearance. Learning to use their bodies, to work as a team, and to discover their inner strengths helps them maneuver the toxic media culture and a world where violence to women and girls is a harsh reality. Imagine if we began training young girls with boys in Little League, baseball, Pop Warner football, soccer. What if youth sports were mostly co-ed and gender mattered much less than talent and ability? Encouraging co-ed sports helps build respect between the genders, something the media and most athletic teams fail to do.
I can remember speaking to a 12-year-old boy, a football player, and I asked him, I said, how would you feel if in front of all the players your coach told you you were playing like a girl? Now, I expected him to say something like, I'll be sad, I'll be mad, I'll be angry, or something like that. No, the boy said to me, it would destroy me. And I said to myself, God, if it would destroy him to be called a girl, what are we then teaching him about girls?
According to neuroscientist Cordelia Fine, in her recent book entitled Delusions of Gender, The Real Science Behind Sex Differences, there are a lot more similarities between genders than differences. Yet, as the author notes, studies that confirm similarity aren't the ones that get published. Cordelia Fine meticulously outlines how research that does find gender differences most often use faulty methods, make illogical conclusions, or use very small sample studies. Yet these studies get lots of attention in what she finds is an age-old attempt to prove men's mental and physical superiority over women. Many of us who work to prevent violence encourage bystander intervention. But for that to succeed, we first need to remind young boys that girls are competitive and powerful teammates. Then if they ever witnessed a girl being hurt or abused, they might be more likely to speak up, get help, rather than remain silent, or much worse, join in the abuse.
When I was growing up, girls just didn't run in public.
No one on my all-boys team would pass to me.
Dad told me I couldn't be a boxer. He said I was too small.
There was a guy who tried to spit on me and then push me out of his way.
There comes a point where you have to be sure of yourself. People aren't used to women being so passionate. It scares them.
One day, I just said it doesn't matter what other people think.
I'm a fashion model who can dunk.
I'm a girl. That doesn't mean I have to wear a skirt.
Doesn't mean I can't get all fired up. They used to say, that girl is crazy.
But then I just kept winning.
I didn't set out to dominate. I just did.
Somebody's got to be the best. So why not me?
I'm 55 years old and I run close to 70 miles a week.
I never felt like quitting.
There's something telling me to do it every single day. Just want to play ball.
Our world is pushing them into being sexual objects at younger and younger ages.
Who's going to have enough courage to say yes or no to what's healthy for our kids? Who's going to have enough courage to do that? Who's going to have enough courage to do that?